nkansah.
The Punch TV.
Yabo.
Honorable members, that is the voice of Alban Bagbin anytime he needs to make a very important statement. Honorable members, in the light of this process, the House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President in the spirit of upholding the rule of law until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court. I am excited that we are having an intellectual discourse. It's the same law we are applying. Mr. President decided that he will not assent his signature to the so-called anti-gay bill, primarily because he had already promised the Vice President of America, Kamala Harris, that I will show Ghanaians where power lies. Let them finish all their talk. Let them do whatever they want to do and pass the bill in Parliament. At the end of the day, I am the Almighty. The bill will come to my table for my signature, and we shall see the ghost that will sign that bill into law. In fact, it is dangerous for our democracy. This is what I call infiltration into our territory. Mr. President, who claims that he's a Christian, who would go all the way to Israel and hold the so-called Wailing Wall and cry to God wearing the Jewish hat, promising God, the God of the Bible, the God of Israel, that if he wins power, he will serve him to the letter and even build him a cathedral.
The Punch TV.
He forced us to raise money to build that cathedral. At the time that we were all sick and totally inundated in poverty, Mr. President wanted to have his way. They slapped our cringing brows with the so-called e-levy. Taxes more than multiplied unprecedentedly in the history of this country. In fact, Mr. President became a tax collector. I am not against taxes in any way, as long as those taxes are used in the interest of the nation. But we can't even trust our leaders, the tax collectors. My brother, my sister, a man who promised to build a cathedral for the God of the Bible and was able to get Christian leaders to believe in his hypocrisy and lampooning. My brother, my sister, he got all the Christian leaders that matter in the country to support his fraudulent faith. At the end of the day, God decided to test his faith using two parameters. Number one, he threw down coronavirus. And when corona landed in this country, it shredded the cathedral into bits. Now, the man who designed the cathedral was not let loose. In fact, he had to go through sexual and rape allegations. My brother, my sister. Today, he doesn't even want to be associated with the cathedral. He has seen that God is angry with the cathedral and angry with anybody who has
The Punch TV.
Anybody who aligns with the cathedral. My brother, my sister, it's like in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. When the fire is coming, it starts burning them first. Now the secretary of the so-called trustees board was not spared either. He had a dual criminal identity. 2 different mothers, 2 different dates of birth. It's only a dirty criminal who would do that. Yet they call him a man of God. In our country, men of God do not exist anymore. Just a few. They are all gods of men. My brother, my sister, a cathedral that was promised God all the way in Jerusalem, Israel. That cathedral, God himself got angry with that. and decided that it will never happen. Anybody who wanted to do it will turn into a pillar of salt. He turned a lot of them into pillars of salt, beginning with a J, say a J. My brother, my sister, the designer of the cathedral, sexual and rape allegations slapping him left, right, and center, to the point that the Queen of England wanted to even suspend his knighthood. He had taken enough embarrassment. Now he has gone under the carpet, cold like ice. Reverend Kusi Boateng, the so-called secretary of the trustees board, has received his portion of the shame of the Sodom and Gomorrah, aka the cathedral, my brother, my sister. And even proper men of God decided to resign. Ray Eastwood Anaba, Archbishop Duncan Williams, and many more. Even Pastor Mensa Otabil distanced himself from this Sodom and
The
Gomorrah.
Punch TV.
Now God is still not happy. He decided to test the president. Now gay issues have come. It's clear in the Bible that you believe in that God is against homosexuality, and that according to the Bible, the president who says he believes in the Bible today is running away from the laws of his biblical God. What a hypocritical, dangerous, dirty-minded president. My brother, my sister, well, people would always beat people to their own game. Today, Alban Bagbin says, any new nominees that you bring to Parliament, we are unable to deal with those until the Supreme Court has been able to finalize issues. Today, my brother, my sister, I am hurt and sad. You know what is going to happen? When two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. The nation is going to be held backward. We are going to retrogress, all because two elephants are fighting. My brother, my sister, things are going to start slowing down in the country even more, all because two elephants are fighting. My nation, Ghana, is the country that is going to suffer. It's a bad precedent. And the president thought he was smart. But some other people have smarted him. And Ghana is the country that will suffer. My brother, my sister, we will continue keeping our ear to the ground. Any updates that come, by
The Punch TV.
we will bring that to you. In the interim, I commend Parliament. At least Parliament has been able to show the arrogant president that he is not God. So arrogant, stinkingly arrogant, stinking arrogance, my brother. He stood in the full glare of the world and told Kamala Harris, don't worry, that bill, let them pass it in Parliament. At the end of the day, it will not matter. It will have to come on my table and I will play the Almighty. What an arrogant president. My brother, my sister, this man is not deserving to be called president. I am so ashamed of him as my president. And I will say this 1 trillion times. I still do not understand why so many MPs will sit in Parliament representing all the constituencies in Ghana and pass a bill. And instead of having the president sign it outright, because the whole Ghana has agreed, the veto of the president is bigger than the whole of Ghana. He can decide against the over 30 million people of this country not to sign a bill that has been agreed by the nation. I still cannot understand what kind of dirty power the Constitution has given to such an arrogant infidel. I leave it here.